Hello, Requin87, and welcome to some Moons of Ardan. So we are continuing to delve into the goodie trove that was the Next Festival on Steam. Although that festival is long and done, we are still being able to get our first little mitts on many demos that have hung around at the end of the festival, and this is one such demo. So it's called the Moons of Ardan. It is actually due to go into early access on the 21st of October. So if you see this interested you, feel free to get involved already. It is a city builder or a civilization builder game by Pandora Technology as the developer and the publisher. From what I can gather thus far, this is their first foray into the wonderful world of game development and publishing, at least in terms of a finished product, that is. But I really liked the vibe it was giving off, so I thought we'd just dive in, we'd check out for 25 minutes or so and see how we get on. So let's jump on in. Right, we can skip all this stuff. So we are... we should have a little colony of Axonauts is the name of the individual people. We are a crashed generational ship, and we're trying to work out what's going on. And as you saw from the title of Moons of Ardan, it is indeed about various moons. So we start on this one here, which is called Vela. But there is indeed 3 moons around this planet, which I don't know what it's called. So first thing we're going to have to do, we get access to very few buildings early on, which is absolutely fine. On this stranded level, so it's kind of the civilization level, if you will, and it will increase as you develop your little colony. First thing you drop down is a city centre. Pretty box standard. You can only build buildings within that big yellow circle. Obviously, you can build more of these later on, which then expands that. The city centre also acts as a little bit of a logistics hub, and so they will move material for you. We're also going to need a forestry person. So I panicked first time because I wasn't sure if these guys needed to be near trees, but they deal with their own. And finally, we need to put down some houses, and I'll talk about the population mechanic once we've got a few houses plopped down. So, 2 things worth talking about. First is you'll see our population up here. There's our current population, astonishing 0, and our current maximum population, which is interestingly also 0. Each of these houses, we can see over here, is shelter, has a basic requirement for it to reach for it to be able to hold 1 population. In this case, the requirement is be near a city centre. Once that's been fulfilled for a certain length of time, this is now available, and a population, and this can now hold 1 person. And you see our population has come to 3 to match our 3 houses. Later, we will unlock what these requirements are, although I know them already to be nutrient based and water. And if you meet those, this same building will now house 2 people. The building doesn't upgrade, if it will, but its capacity increases, and you can, to be fair, upgrade the buildings later. A little bit, I suppose, like you would get in the old Caesar or Pharaoh games, or maybe newer things like Anno or not Banished, Foundation, where buildings can upgrade when you supply the required goods to them. Okay, and they've now given us access to a hydroponic farm. So this takes wood and makes space. So resource chains and logistic chains are obviously going to be a big part of this game. Let's just drop this down beside our forestry place. So we create 10 wood a day from a woodcutter's hut, and we'll consume... Where's my recipe? Oh no, you don't... Sorry. I take it all back. It was costing me wood to build it. It doesn't consume wood. This will just produce nutrient paste for free as long as you have a worker there. So similar here, this just produces wood for free. So base resources for free. Happy days. I'm gonna... Alright, we'll skip that. So it's now saying production chain. So it has now given us access to some water. So you can see here we now need nutrient paste and water, and then these little shelters will house 2 people. So let's throw down this little resource train. Let's throw down a couple of grey water facilities, which is a horrible concept, let you ask me. So in actual buildings and facilities and whatever, grey water essentially is all the water from your drain. So anything which doesn't go down, which isn't from a toilet. Toilet's black water, but sinks, showers, anything like that, that's all grey water. So nice that we're recycling that into drinking water. So these guys, as you can see, they produce 2.5 grey water a day, and this chap, if you look at Oh, well, you can't see it because he's not a full population, but he will require 5 grey water to produce, I think it's 5 clear water. But I can't see it because he doesn't have enough people working on him. In fact, it tells me here, there you go. I need 5 grey water for 5 clean water. And it can take up to 3 workers. So you can see our max population is 5, we're at it, and we cannot fulfill our job. So first thing to do is to put down some more shelters. You can rotate buildings with Q and E to give you a bit more of a natural feel. The other thing which is interesting and I like is that you'll see once this needs fulfilled, we will go up to a max of 6 or 7 when this kicks in, but we won't automatically get that population. And the way it works is as long as you have space in your max above your current population, this green bar here will slowly fill up, and when it fills up, you get a new population, and it is that simple. And there it goes. You can see, and that'll work its way up, and when it reaches, we will get an extra pop. While all that's happily working on, other things, you can obviously see the various resources we've got, nice and straightforward and simple. It shows you obviously hard numbers of what you have stored. Also, and I do love this feature, gives you a little graph of how that resources have been produced over time. Also gives you a breakdown of whether things are being held up for transport, and how many you're currently producing. So cool little bit of information, love that UI aspect. The center here also acts as a kind of logistics hub. It only gives us 1 transport at the minute, so we're probably going to be a little bit strained until we can unlock more of those buildings. You can see there he goes. Okay, fantastic. We've now been given a bio crusher. So some of the important resources we've been spending on building our shelters is this biofilament, which we've not been able to make yet, but now we can. So this will turn 15 wood into 7.5 biofilament when it is full of workers. And it will tell me this later, but I'll tell you now for free. That was a really interesting way they have scaled their workers. So it's not a linear scale, as a lot of games do. This guy, for example, that's a bad number because it's odd, but he takes 3 workers. If we had, let's just say 1.5, because the math is easy, it wouldn't produce half as much. In fact, it would only produce, I think it's 25% as much. So they work on I don't know if it's quite a log scale or some exponential scale, so that having less than maximum workers is pretty suboptimal, and that's really interesting. A really interesting way of doing it. Okay, again, our jobs outstrip our population, so we're going to want to crank in some shelters as fast as we can, and maybe let's kick up the speed. We'll wait for some of this biofilament to come in. And we can, if we want, start turning places off if we think, we don't need them to work. No, but that's fine. We should be, we're getting some people in now. We should be able to build some shelters. So let's drop down in speed. So you can see our population has actually skyrocketed and we've not built anything more. But that's because we have now produced enough nutrient paste and enough water to fill this shelter, and this unlocks up to 2 people staying here. So without more buildings, our population cap has increased quite nicely. Will that indeed fill all our jobs? The one important thing to note is that if for any reason we should ever lose access to water or nutrient paste, then this guy's ability to retain population will collapse down to the next lowest level, which would be the 1 here. And our max population would suddenly plummet to 7 in this case, and we would start losing population each tick until we either met our new max or we supply them with that good. And that has happened a few times in my first kind of run, where I ran out of things, especially later on, and you get kind of a bit of a population slide for a little bit. And it is quite quick and quite dramatic, so definitely something to pay attention to. This little symbol here is showing me that his stockpile is full, which is kind of fine. So things important, our maximum stockpile at the minute is 5 of any good, and that's it. So it's done on a per good basis or per resource basis, and you can only hold 5. As we unlock logistics centers, if we plop them down, we get +2 per logistics center, which obviously increases it, but currently we can only stock 5. So we get 5 in our storage. This guy can also hold 5. He's full. We have no demand for nutrient paste at the minute, so he's just capped on his resource output, and that's what that symbol means. Not a terrible place to be honest. So I'm happy. Excellent. So we now have access to these warehouses. Not that we have enough wood at the minute. Probably because our biofilment's eating it all, but they're about to be resource capped as well. So what I would probably want to do in speed time up a little bit until we can get a warehouse plop down. Because I want a few more people running logistics in this neck of the woods. You take biofilament as well, but not that much. Alright, I'll plop down another house as well, because I want to keep my population keep ticking up, because you do all of a sudden need a rather large number of people. I do like the kind of art style in this. It's pretty simplistic, but it's nice. It fits the vibe. I really like the kind of atmospheric spooky music. That does wonders for me. Okay, so blue circle is the range of the logistics people of things they will carry, and they also act as a resource hub. So instead of taking it to this place, the site center, they can just take it to their own little warehouse. That also works. Currently, we'll have 2 people who can work here, although we can upgrade that later on. Also, great information here. It tells you how many things are waiting to be transported, how many things we're currently transporting. Fantastic little bit of feedback. You can see if you're being overloaded. My only that's a very slight bugbear, is it's on a global level, so as you get more bases, it'll show you overall, but doesn't necessarily show you where the problem child is. Let's maybe plop down a few more houses, just so our population can keep growing. I haven't yet worked out exactly how many houses a single nutrient-based and a single bottled water facility can handle, but currently it seems to be this many. So we have these milestones, and as we hit these milestones and push further, that's how we kind of unlock new buildings. So we need to get 25 citizens at the minute, so we've actually got, we need more houses. And I've left, as you see, I've left a big hole in the middle of our houses here, and that's because I know what's coming next, and I'm just praying that I've left the right hole for a special building that plops in there, but we shall see. There is no requirement for your people to walk to their place of work or anything like that, as far as I can tell. They do just wander about, but there just seems to be more for atmospherics than anything else. It's not like they don't seem to turn up and work, as long as you have people ticking the slots, and this works at maximum capacity, which I like. And there is some joy in the games which have people having to walk for food and walk for work, and only work when they're at work, and kind of, sorting out where they live near where they work and all that kind of stuff. But it can also get pretty tedious and pretty annoying. And the scale that this is going for, which is going to be eventually multimodal colonies, I think that would be pretty tiresome. So I think it's a good design choice to have ignored that. I also have no qualms with the instant build either. I know a lot of games make you work and have builders and make you build stuff, whereas this you just plop it down, it's there, and I'm okay. Actually, it works kind of well for it, and it just presents its challenges in a different way. Right, while I whitter on about that, let's drop a few more shelters down. Got to keep the people building. Keep them babies, not flowing, because we will have very quickly lots of things for people to work on. We are capped on everything bar wood. We could put down another woodman. Do we need another woodman? Potentially. And here we go. This is the thing I was talking about. The space left building for. We can now build a community centre, and this will upgrade our houses from a 2 to a 3. So I can see this one building will all of a sudden, increase our population by a third, because everything is within that beautiful pink radius. Indeed, we can even go on. Say I can fit it in. Say I can fit it in. Oh, I can't fit it in. It's just beautiful. A little bit of wasted space. Sorry, I shouldn't get so excited about these things. But damn it, I will. So I love the fact that when I went to build a shelter, it shows me this pink ring as well as the yellow one. Very clear on exactly where I can build and what benefits I'm going to get from it. So I am very impressed with the UI elements in this game. So let things tick on. We now need to get to 30 level 1 citizens. Well, our maximum population is currently 54, which is beautifully stonking, if I do so myself. And we'll just continue to build towards that. Maybe we'll kick the speed up while that happens. And we should very soon be able to go up to the next level of, or next tier I should say, of civilization. There we go. And it's telling you all about that. So this thing, now we have fully upgraded all 3 levels. We can, or fully met all 3 levels I should say, we can actually upgrade the buildings. which is very nice and hotkey. You would just hit the U button, or we click this big green arrow. It'll cost us a couple of biofilament, which we have, and away we go. And it's, as a reward, unlock some clothing, which we'll look at. So now we're on tier 2. You see we've got a graphics change, which is always nice, and we can house up to 6 people, but again there's needs at every level. And as I said, be warned, if we it doesn't matter what level we get up to, if you fail to meet a resource for any of these levels, it drops all the way down to that. So even if we were maxed out level 6, if we ran out of water, we would drop from a 6 all the way down to 1. You don't just lose that 1 slot, so it's pretty dangerous. I think we're going to put down another wood thing, because that does seem to be a touch of a blocker. I need wood to build a woodcutter's hut. Fine. Right, let's get up speed. I just need 1 wood, please. 1 wood? It's all going into my biofilament factory at the minute. I can see him, he's taking wood from here and just dumping it into there. Which is fair, we need it, but at the same time, I would quite like to put down another wood manufacturer. Please? Go on, you want to? We're about to be capped, so this thing will stop producing. And we'll get some wood going into there. So you can get into these little kind of dead ends, which usually work themselves out. It just takes a little bit of time. There we go. Oh, not quite. We're at 2 of 5. That's okay. But listen, there's no real time pressure. We can just sit and run like this for ages, and it's quite happily doing its thing. Our population will continue to skyrocket as we wait. But that's not a problem. Okay, we're about to hit our stockpile. He shuts down. They'll bring some wood to fill his kind of input resources, and then they'll start filling it into the storage. And I have no problem with the fact that they take it directly from its output to its requirement, and I suppose that makes a lot of sense. At the same time, we got it. I would quite like to build some more, so. Beautiful. And maybe a lot will come later with some tools about how they go about the place. Right, now I'm going to go like crazy, upgrading my, upgrade my buildings. You can just do it with a nice shortcut U, which is super handy. And we can have a look at the next tier of settlers. So we've got a couple of things. We've got a quarry, which we'll have to look at. And then we have textile fiber collector, fabric weaver, and a clothes factory. So we're going to get our clothes chain set up. Might as well just do it over in this area, and we'll maybe build a new logistics hub for them. So let's just plop it down here. We're going to need a fair few of these. So if you look at this, clothing takes 5 cloth for 5 clothing. Cloth takes 5 textiles for 2.5. So we're going to need 2 of these for 1 of those, which means we're going to need 10 cloth inputs. We're going to need 10 of these all in, which is a fair amount. Let's have a little fabric field over here, and these don't see any resources, don't need any workers, they just happen. Oh, we are going to need stone for that, so maybe let's get that down. Apparently you just mine the ground, so sure, go mine the ground over there. Beautiful. And you'll see at least a little paths get created as your folks wander about the place, which is it's quite nice. I like that. Right, we might as well keep going putting these down. I'm happy to start with a bit of a stockpile of fabric. We'll see if we can squeeze them in over here. Right, biofilament. That's okay. And now we've got our second wood place. We are drowning in wood, so you know, victory there, I suppose, or something. Beautiful. Tempted to get another one of these bad boys down, actually. Let's do it. We've got plenty of job spaces. Job satisfaction guaranteed. Drop that in there. We've got actually not that much headroom, 40. Let's invest in a little bit more pop just so it's still working towards something. Beautiful. Right, we are going to need a logistics place actually. And I might do that first because this is going to be overloading our one dude in the middle here. So you take 7.5 in a day, and you take 7.5, and you take none. I thought someone else took wood. No, just you two. So we should be getting 5 wood a day. which is alright. Cannot complain at that. Right. No, logistics. I want a logistics place. Where are we? What do I need for that? Wood. Of course I'm sure of wood. I'm always sure of wood. Come on. I saw them. I saw them with it. Okay, we have the wood. Let's put this in. Quite far away over here, I think. Beautiful. And then we put down our textile stuff. So we need a couple of these fabric weavers. Let's have them say there and there, nice and close to the source of their fabric. And then, we just put a clothes factory in here. Beautiful. Upgrade all this. So now, we don't even have people for the population. We need to get upgrading. So that was just a little thing about the employment. So it's another interesting way of doing that. That if you have more jobs than people, then it will try and evenly distribute them between all places of employment. So I'll make sure every building has one, and then every building has two, and so on and so forth. You can manually tweak that, but that's its base kind of mode of operations. So our next milestone is 50 citizens. We're going to have to get work on this. Oh no, we've got that already. Derp. 75, which we're working towards. And we have a whole new building chain called Tools, which we'll look at. I was going to say in a moment, but actually we're at Biofilm. No, there's some more there. Good. Let's get these all upgraded. How are we doing for water? It seems holding steady. Nutrient paste holding steady. No problemo. Well, that makes sense actually. We'll not actually increase the amount of water and nutrient paste we need. Okay, good. And in fact, oh yeah, these aren't actually holding more people yet until we get closed. Although we've some started to come in because our population has skyrocketed. So let's look at what we need for tools. Well, we need a new thing called a solonite mine, which has to be put on, this stuff here. Purple crystal, solonite. So if you spin it around, it should clip into place. Oh, it won't do it because we need a city centre, which requires wood, which we've managed to run short of again. Okay. So how about we crank up the speed? Same about building efficiency, which we talked about earlier. Just having a quick check, make sure I wasn't wrong about anything. No, nothing else uses wood. That's okay. Right, city centre, we can now drop this down. We're going to put it over here. Again, it'll also act as logistics hub, which is nice. Although there's only one person, so you might want to put down a proper logistics hub anyway. We shall put our solonite mine in. And look, and it builds these little roads to connect things. This one's a bit derpy, and it'll build bridges and stuff. And it kind of fleshes out and looks very nice. And I don't think we do anything more than look the part, but it's cool to see. So we have built a solonite mine. So ultimately we want tools. Tools require some wood, and I better build more of those. And some of this stuff, solonite. This requires 5 purple and 5 of the bioreactor. And that produces a ton. And that produces 10, 30. Okay, I'll work it out as we go along. I was doing the math and then all of a sudden I just stopped thinking. We need more people. Why don't we, before we do anything, let's get another little population on the go. Starting with community centre. That looks good, and then we'll put down just a whole bunch of level 1 houses. We should all upgrade to level 3. There was a no, that one. There is a shortcut you can use for just the houses, and I can't remember what it is. J, there we go. Which is pretty handy because there's times you just want to spam these guys down and it saves you a few clicks. Which is nice. Nice quality of life feature there. Okay. Keep spamming these things. Oh, I'm out by filming. Cool. Right, these will rapidly fill up. It will be interesting to see what happens to nutrient and water, and this may well cause a crash, so which will be exciting to see if nothing else. Let's throw another wood thing over here. Let's throw, do we want another biofilament? No, we'll leave the wood on its own for now. Logistics is probably the next thing I want, just to help tie this little area together. Let's maybe go up to 6 speed. So these guys are all filling in, and it seems like, yeah, absolutely no problem at all. So yeah, we've only got 1 water factory and 1 nutrient paste factory, so I'm relatively pleased this is holding steady. We've now got another wood place, so hopefully wood's going to be coming in a little bit quicker. But we shall see. Maybe I just have lazy woodchucks. Let's go speed 3 while I wait for my wood to come in. And I say, you'll probably spend a lot of your game kind of these periods of high speed waiting for kind of stuff to happen. Right, let's drop this in. There will be perfect. I will happily upgrade these things. And because all your logistics centers are linked, there's no need for these guys to be within range of a clothing place or anything that kind of nonsense. And in fact, they don't actually have to like take the clothes to the house. It's just as long as it hits that storage, you can upgrade. So again, a few what people might view as shortcuts, but it makes nice quality of life changes, which I, for one, like. I'm pleased with this. Right, you take 10 wood and turn it into 30 moosh. Well, you can come down here. You can take his entire output and turn it into moosh. Interesting. And then we're going to need 2 foundries, which will make 10 of those, which can feed. I can feed 4 of those. That's a lot. Might not make 10. I might just do one foundry and 2 tools factories. But I think I'm going to throw down another wood place. Now this is the interesting bit. So it says we've unlocked a new building, medical center here, as you can see, which requires chromium tubes. Now the interesting thing about chromium is this is not on our moon. So this is the first element into intermoon travel. Now unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get to intermoon travel in the time we have ahead of us. But we can certainly look at how you might get there. So before we do that, we're going to build these things. What are we short of? Oh, biofilament now. We have doing a lot of upgrading, to be fair. This won't take as long. Okay, we can put this guy in here because he needs ore, which seems like a jolly good place for him to go. And then we'll drop in our tools factory. One can go there. And now you'll see these guys are going up to 5, and we'll have another population explosion. Should be lovely to see. I say that we are actually slightly short of people, so these buildings you see start to employ a lot of folks. Now the danger here is that as we put down these buildings and create these jobs, some of our basic things like water, nutrient based, clothing, stop getting fulfilled as much. So actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut down this stuff. So I don't want this detracting from our critical resource chains. Okay, so that's telling me about the vehicle assembly. So you can see we've got another level of tech here, our civilization, space routes, where we can finally get out into space. So we'd look metalloid extractors, nanofiber factories, all that good stuff. And again, it's just about building these resource chains into more complicated things and getting, intergalactic or interplanetary logistics routes and all that kind of groovy stuff. But let's see, maybe if we can get our tool chain up and running, and we'll call ourselves a day there. But we are going to need probably about 150 population to get all this working properly. It will become self-sustainable once we're kind of up there. We're at 127, so we're a little shy, but not too bad. And we do have plenty of headroom for growth. And I'd say as soon as those tools start coming off the conveyor belt, our population is going to explode, or our population cap is going to explode. Which is good because all these later buildings take massive amounts of people. So that one takes 20 workers, that one takes 10, that one takes 10. Your requirement for population really does go through the roof as well. Right, so you take 10 people, that's a lot of people, that's fine. So this is actually starting to produce tools, or will be very shortly. Here we go. 0.4 days, pretty slow. That's just because he's not fully employed. Do you mean about the real impact efficiency? So that's just over half, or no, maybe a little more than half, but look, we've got almost 80% of people. So it really does behoove you to make sure everyone is well employed and you've got some spare bodies lying around. As such, I will leave this one mothballed until we hit the next 10. But we should see this max start going a little crazy as we start getting these. In fact, let's go crank up the speed because I am rapidly running out of time. Okay, mission control, which unfortunately we won't be able to get to. But yes, we can. Once you've unlocked these 3, you can go between the moons. That say that's good enough. And we should see this 55 number start going creeping up the way as these tools get used. There you go, 156, 192. Look at that. As suddenly tools became available. And that would then give us a population to start looking at all this stuff, to go interplanetary and go look for some chromium on some of these other moons. So yeah, but that's where we're going to have to call it for today. So just a first little look at this really cool little city builder. Now, I don't think it's doing anything particularly new or innovative or kind of groundbreaking, but what it does, I think it does very well. You know, I also really like the aesthetic, the feel of it. That, you know, it has good kind of sound design. It is still in early access, so it might go a bit deeper with terms of kind of content and complexity, but just the whole building the resource chains together, it works well. There's not huge pressure from failure. Yes, you can kind of cause the odd population collapse, but aside from that, generally you can kind of let time run until you dig yourself out of a hole. And I enjoy it. Whether it's diverse enough and interesting enough to grab people's attention in a very, very crowded kind of colony builder market, well, that remains to be seen, and that's kind of up to everyone else and whether they think it's worth it. But yeah, if you have thoughts on the game, please do leave them down below. As I said, it's hitting early access on the 21st of October, so go check it out if you're interested. And otherwise, you know, thanks for watching. I am Requin87. Do check out my Twitch and YouTube links below. And as ever, I've been hosted by We Bleed Pixels. Do go check out the rest of their stuff, and do check out their website for news and reviews about games and good stuff. But yeah, I do hope you have enjoyed watching. And as ever, I'll catch you in the next one.